CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
The government of Cameroon views decentralization as the devolution of spatial powers and finances to local authorities, which constitute the driving force for sustainable development, good governance, and democracy. Our focus on today's program is on decentralization. This is so because youth of the CAFÉ division are preparing for a forum that will help them, of course, get skills that will generate income, elevate poverty, and render them autonomous, and of course speed up the decentralization process. Our guest on the program will be a member of parliament for the CAFÉ. She is Honorable Jacqueline. She will be telling us more about this forum that will of course speed up the decentralization process in her locality. Hello, thanks for joining me. This is CAFÉ POLITIQUE on CRTV News. This is your political breakfast show. Together, we're going to be for 26 minutes. We're going to discuss decentralization and talk more about refugees. And so, we're going to be for 26 minutes. You grab your mug, and I will be yours in a moment. Of course, we talk about the security situation in the Far North region. You understand that the governor of the Far North region, Mijiawa Bakari, has commended efforts that have been put in place by security officials as well as vigilante groups in order to ensure that the region is secured. There is a security meeting ongoing in the Far North region where he is evaluating the level of security in that part of the country. Our reporter Henry Tato completes the story from the Far North.
The need to protect the people of the Far North following recent tensions in neighboring Chad after the death of President Idris Deby was a matter of utmost importance in the regional security coordination meeting.
First is to reinforce the transborder security. Some of neighboring countries are facing difficulties, so we at our level we have to be more vigilant and to be ready.
The second wave of COVID-19 that has infected over 1,900 people, amongst which are 40 deaths, was also on the table during the meeting.
We have the vaccine. Do call population of the Far North region to go to different center to get their vaccine because there is no harmful effect.
Far North Governor, the 6 senior divisional officers, the top military brass and other authorities in attendance all agreed the populace will have to collaborate for these measures to yield the expected results.
The security situation in the Far North region for some time has been perturbing. You understand that there have been sporadic attacks by the terrorist sect from Nigeria, Boko Haram, and of course the kidnappings and demand for ransom. The security situation in the Far North is a story done for us by reporter Nadesh Baima.
Avec 3 354 978 habitants, la région de l'extrême nord Cameroun fait face à plusieurs défis sécuritaires. Grand banditisme, pillage, vol, viol et trafic de toutes sortes. Terrorisme, avec les exactions de Boko Haram. Conséquences, les pertes en vie humaine, déplacement des populations, violences faites aux femmes et aux enfants, attaques et massacres des populations civiles, attaques, suicides et engins explosifs. Une implantation dans la région qui n'a été possible et favorable que du fait de la précarité socio-économique ambiante, la faiblesse de l'accès à l'éducation malgré les efforts du gouvernement et la densité de la frontière nord. Il faut tout de même souligner que grâce à la puissance militaire de nos forces armées, les opérations militaires conjointes dans le cadre d'une coalition régionale et également le rôle des populations locales constituent un comité de vigilance, le groupe terroriste Boko Haram est aujourd'hui réduit à des attaques sporadiques.
As I told you a while ago, our guest on the program is Honorable Jacqueline. She is a member of parliament for the CAFÉ locality in the East region. You understand that we are having her as guest on the program because there is a forum in view for youths of the CAFÉ division where they're going to equip them with necessary skills to make them autonomous. That falls within the decentralization process. I had a chat with Honorable Jacqueline earlier today at the Hotel de Député. With her, I began by asking how this forum is going to help bring the youth out of poverty. Take a listen.
Il n'y a pas seulement la CADI, c'est même dans une grande partie de l'étendue du territoire camerounais que nous avons des problèmes d'entrepreneuriat. Les jeunes ne veulent plus rien faire, ils savent qu'ils doivent se lever le matin, ils boivent leur alcool, ils ne se dérangent pas. Les parents vont tout faire, même si celui-là a 40 ans, il sait que ses parents peuvent encore tout faire, sa mère peut le nourrir. Il fait même des enfants, ses parents vont faire le trousseau et envoyer leurs enfants à l'école. Aujourd'hui, nous voulons utiliser l'entrepreneuriat, c'est pour éduquer nos enfants, nos fils qui sont dans la région de l'Est, qu'ils puissent être formés pour devenir aussi des grands hommes demain. Être un homme riche n'est pas seulement aller à une grande école, avoir le salaire de l'administration, non. L'entrepreneuriat peut te faire devenir un homme bien assis. Nous voulons donc former les jeunes, faire former les jeunes dans l'académie. Après que le réseau aura formé ces jeunes-là, on va leur montrer aussi comment monter leur dossier par rapport au ministère de la Jeunesse qui peut les accompagner.
Est-ce que l'académie n'a pas de problème plus grave que l'entrepreneuriat? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres problèmes qu'il faut résoudre? Est-ce que l'entrepreneuriat jeune est la priorité pour votre localité?
Il n'y a pas d'acte de naissance dans nos localités. C'est même dans toute l'étendue du territoire camerounais. Il n'y a pas d'acte de naissance. Et quand bien même les enfants, ceux qui pensent aller à l'école, quand il arrive au cours moyen 2, il ne peut pas avancer parce qu'il n'a pas d'acte de naissance. Il ne peut pas se présenter au CEP. Ils se découragent et vont creuser l'or. Ou ils portent le carburant pour aller en forêt pour ceux qui abattent le bois. Et peut-être aller porter des planches très lourdes sur la tête pour mettre sur la route. L'acheteur viendra acheter les planches sur la route. Peut-être qu'il sort ce bois d'1 ou de 2 kilomètres en profondeur de la forêt. Pour améliorer cette situation-là, nous qui sommes leurs leaders au Parlement, nous avons sollicité le réseau entrepreneuriat pour essayer d'éduquer nos enfants, nos petits frères, nos petits-fils qui ont peut-être entendu parler de l'entrepreneuriat, mais ils ne savent pas de quoi il s'agit. Il vaut mieux qu'on leur donne une éducation par rapport à l'entrepreneuriat, voire même comment dirais-je, les former les volontaires, certains volontaires, voir comment les former pour qu'ils puissent être aussi des grandes personnes demain. La décentralisation est en train de se mettre sur les rails. Elle n'est qu'au début. Nous ne pouvons rien forcer actuellement. Nous sommes sur le début de la décentralisation. Et pour l'instant, je ne vois pas encore ce qui cloche. Il n'y a pas seulement les maires, nous avons aussi les sénateurs de l'Académie. En synergie, nous voulons travailler d'abord par le commencement. Nous voulons commencer par le commencement. L'acte de naissance. L'acte de naissance est d'abord la base de beaucoup d'échecs. Parce que même si un enfant va à l'école, au cours moyen 2, s'il n'a pas d'acte de naissance, il ne peut pas faire son CEP. Et vous voyez ce que c'est. Il décide d'arrêter sa vie là. il va creuser l'or. Or, s'il avait son acte de naissance et qu'il puisse présenter son CEP, dès qu'il obtient un premier diplôme dans la vie, l'envie c'est d'aller avoir aussi un deuxième diplôme, troisième diplôme, quatrième diplôme, ainsi de suite. Ce n'est pas qu'ils sont idiots, c'est qu'il y a eu un sérieux problème d'acte de naissance.
Honorable Jacqueline Man, a guest on the program CAFÉ POLITIQUE, she was talking there about her locality, the CADE. She's a member of parliament. She's representing the CADE at the National Assembly. And so she was talking about this forum that's in view for youth of the CADE division, whereby they're going to equip them with the necessary skills to make them autonomous, create jobs, of course, and then alleviate poverty in the East region. We're going to take a short break. When we come back during the second part of the program CAFÉ POLITIQUE, we're going to be talking about refugees. You understand that Cameroon is hosting a lot of refugees in the country, over 25,000 of them only in Garabulai, that's in the East region, where you have over Central African republics pouring in for Cameroon, with their host country. We're talking about refugees and the friendly hand Cameroon is sending to refugees who are coming in from other parts of the country. But we'll also be looking at the week in retrospective, what marked the week in politics, notably with the head of state who was represented by the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Beti Asomo, at the burial of Chadian President Idriss Deby. We'll talk much more about that during the second segment of the program. Let's take a short break, and I will join you in a moment. Welcome back to the second segment of your political breakfast show on CRTV News CAFÉ POLITIQUE. Quite a pleasure to be back with you on the program. In this second segment, we're going to be talking about refugees. You understand that Cameroon does not go to sleep while its neighbor's roof is on fire. And this is evident in the number of refugees that are hosted in Cameroon, be it at Garabulai with the Central African refugees that are hosted there at the Minao refugee camp, or in Bile up in the North region. You understand that Cameroon is sending a helping hand to its neighbors. This is a presentation of the different camps where Cameroon is hosting refugees with Rita Makan.
Statistics from the United Nations High Commission for Refugees reveal that Cameroon hosts over 421,700 refugees, with large populations from Central African Republic estimated at 280,500, driven by war and insecurity, and Nigeria counting 114,300 refugees. While refugees from Nigeria have settled in the far north region, the majority of Central African Republic refugees, 70% of them, are concentrated in the east region, with smaller clusters in the Adamawa and the north region. There has been good news for some refugees thanks to the tripartite agreement signed in 2017 between the government of Cameroon, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. The agreement facilitates the repatriation of some 5,000 Nigerian refugees who decided to voluntarily return to their homeland. As of date, over 3,000 refugees have arrived Borno State in Nigeria and were bid farewell at their departure at the Minawao camp by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, and administrative authorities in the far north region, who each time did not miss to hand over to them relief packages and humanitarian assistance from the head of state, Paul Biya. A gesture welcomed by Nigerian authorities and the refugees, who had created a strong bond with their Cameroonian brothers.
Cameroon had organized several ceremonies for return of refugees, that's voluntary return of Nigerian refugees back to their home country. You understand that they, after staying in Cameroon for quite some time, felt there was a need for them to get back to their country. And so Cameroon organized a ceremony. Over 5,000 of them were announced to return back to Nigeria. Nadia Amana.
Plus de 4000 réfugiés nigériens ont déjà volontairement quitté le sol camerounais depuis le lancement des rapatriements volontaires en mars dernier. Des hommes, des femmes et enfants qui retrouvent leur terre natale, encadrés par les autorités camerounaises, nigérianes et celles du Haut Commissariat des Nations Unies pour les réfugiés. Ils s'étaient retrouvés au Cameroun pour échapper à la fureur des violences du groupe terroriste Boko Haram. Ces rentrées à la maison, en 6 vagues déjà, portent en elles le symbole d'un retour progressif à la paix dans ce pays voisin, le Nigeria. Ces départs suscitent également beaucoup d'enthousiasme, aussi bien chez les volontaires que chez leurs compatriotes restés sur place. Des dispositions ont été prises pour leur réintégration sans peine.
And now we're going to take you retrospective to look at what marked the week in politics. That was last week. You understand that thousands of Chadians attended the state funeral of long-serving President Idriss Déby Itno after he was killed earlier. That was Tuesday during a clash with rebels. Amongst the foreign leaders there was France's President Emmanuel Macron, for whom Chad is a key ally in the fight against jihadists in the region. He addressed his words to the casket, saying, of course, you lived as a soldier, you died as a soldier. Cameroon's minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Bitiasoma, represented the head of state at the funeral ceremony. Meanwhile, other news, you understand that the Prime Minister, Joseph Diongute, of course, was amongst other people who took part in the burial ceremony of Cardinal Toumi, Cameroon's lone cardinal who died. Of course, it was a heavily attended event by top government officials as well as members of the clergy who turned out massively for the last to give the last respect to Cardinal Toumi, who was buried last week. In the meantime, Prime Minister Joseph Diongute set the pace for government officials last week. We saw him take a dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. He was included during a voluntary vaccination campaign organized for members of government and members of the diplomatic corps at the auditorium of the Prime Minister's office. Several members of government also took part in the vaccination that was organized to encourage Cameroonians to be receptive to the ongoing campaign against COVID-19. And the week in retrospective puts an end to today's edition of your political breakfast show, CAFÉ POLITIQUE. It was quite a pleasure being with you. We had 26 minutes to talk politics, and next week will be another interesting time. We spoke about decentralization. You understand that decentralization is viewed by Cameroon government as the devolution of spatial powers by the state and devolution of resources to local authorities, which constitute a veritable force for local government, for local development, good governance, and democracy. Our focus was on decentralization with Honorable Jacqueline, who is a member of parliament for the Kade, a locality in the East region, with her we discussed about a forum which is in view for the youth of the Kade, whereby they want to render the youth autonomous, and that is organized within the framework of the decentralization process. That's it for CAFÉ POLITIQUE. I'll be back next week, Tuesday, hopefully, for another insightful edition. In the meantime, remain on programs on CRTV News.